I'll tell Leonard. He was supposed to be here.
And welcome to the HS Game Time Live Blitz Playoff Edition. Kyle Glazer sitting this one out, but we've got some pretty good backups here. David Zink, sports editor from the Press Enterprise, as well as Vinny Fazio, head coach from Murrieta Valley. And Zink, we were talking, this guy should be playing this Friday, right?
Absolutely.
What happened, Coach? I mean, you got snubbed, right? I mean, you don't have to say it, but we can say it. You got snubbed.
Yeah, we got snubbed. I can say it. We're disappointed, but they still put a great bracket together. It should be exciting, and hopefully next year we'll be a part of it.
So we're going to have Coach Fazio throughout the entire show breaking down some of these playoff matchups. We got a lot of fun. Zink and I are going to make our championship game predictions in the Inland, Central, Eastern, and East Valley divisions, and we're also we've got some faces we're going to break out, right? You've got a couple that you're going to do. I've got Dennis Gregovich from Talkowitz a little bit later in the show, as well as Lorenzo Cabrera from Ramona. And you've got
I got a little bit of that's Mr. Weber from Centennial, Robert Weber.
That's your boy Webb on Twitter.
And then, of course, who's this?
Oh, that's the old gunslinger, Wyatt Moore.
That's right. He's going to drive Arlington from the bottom of the Inland Valley League to a CIF championship. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we're looking forward to that, so we're going to have a little fun later in the show. But and we're going to have Moreno Valley, the Vikings, going to join us. They open the playoffs against Carter, a team coach that you're very familiar with. You coached at Carter with Alex Pierce.
Alex Pierce, man, he's a great coach. They got a good team and bounced back last week and played a lot better. And I know I've talked to him this week. I know they think it's going to be a really good matchup with Moreno Valley. I think it's going to be a tough game.
Now we're going to have Moreno Valley on in a little bit later in the show and talk about their Eastern Division game against Carter. But let's talk about some of the other Eastern Division matchups. The defending champion Citrus Hill going against Ramona. Now, head coach for the Rams, Damon Dustin, going back to Citrus Hill where he used to coach at, and he's going to have a tough order taking down the Hawks, Zink. I mean, the Hawks going for back-to-back CIF titles and looking strong, holding off a late surge from Talkowitz to win another Mountain Pass League title.
And they've proved their championship roots. But you have to look at them from past years to this year. I think if there's any one year in the last three that they're probably vulnerable, it's this year. Last year and the year before, they were pretty much a shoo-in. This year, I think they have some issues. They've worked through them. We'll have to see how they play in the playoffs.
Now, since we're talking about Ramona, I'm going to break out my Lorenzo Cabrera mask because
you discovered him.
Listen, Pep Fernandez from HS Game Time discovered me, and I got to give him all the credit in the world. He found me. He found me at a summer passing league. I was playing soccer. I didn't know what was going on in my life. He told me to play football. It all worked out. I have 2 school records, Zink. Do you know that?
2?
I kicked an 81-yard punt. That's a school record. And I caught 5 touchdowns from my boy Damon Mays in one game. So I've got 2 school records, and I just started playing football. This game's easy.
Is that what it is?
It's real easy.
I thought soccer was easy.
I'm good at both. I'm good at everything. So Pep found me, like I said, and the rest is history. I'm just off and running. I'm going to lead Ramona to a big win against Citrus Hill.
Did you slide and rip your jersey off when you scored your 5th touchdown?
Well, I was looking for the corner flag. I was going to do a little soccer celebration, and I didn't know where to go. So after you score a touchdown, I'm like, what do you do? But I guess in football, you just flip the ball to the ref and act like you've been there. But in soccer, you live it up. So there's Lorenzo Cabrera for you.
And that's all we're going to talk about Ramona is Lorenzo Cabrera?
Well, we can go more into Citrus Hill. I mean, the Hawks going for back-to-back titles. Not a lot of inland area teams have done that. Coach Fazio, are you familiar with Citrus Hill very much?
Yeah, actually, we have Citrus Hill on our schedule next year.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, we're playing them week 1. It'll be our 2nd game. So as familiar as I am now, I'm going to get more familiar with them. I know Coach. I've talked to Coach a couple times, met him before. I know they do a really good job, really super athletic. I remember their quarterback from last year was a killer.
Yeah, Trevor Hodge.
Yeah, scholarship guy, and yeah, they do a really good job. I anticipate they'll be right there again. They always are.
Look at that. Breaking news here. Murrieta Valley taking on Citrus Hill. That's quite the matchup next season.
And you heard it first here.
Yeah, that's right. All right, also in the Eastern Division, Hesperia taking on San Gorgonio. This is a San G team that's 10-0, and we had to get this straight because San G did have a previous undefeated team. They were 9-0 in 1966.
The year I was born.
Was it? Do you remember that?
No, I was born that year.
You didn't come out of the womb and start cheering for San G?
That's right.
Anyways, they were 9-0 in 1966, 10-0 this year. So technically the first time a San G team has gone 10-0 during the regular season. I went on the radio and said that I think they'll go 14-0 and win the Eastern Division Championship.
So you've already given up one pick in your Eastern Division, I get it. San G again is going to defeat somebody.
That was
all over.
San G, right? I mean, it's hard to go again. I mean, Citrus Hill is the perennial favorite, but San G, I mean.
I would guess that those are probably the two teams. San G is playing really well, and they're doing it with a lot of juniors. Wesley Hill, I remember we played Wesley Hill when he was at Cajon last year at Eisenhower, and he's a great player. They're getting great play out of their quarterback. Rashad Mills' kid is playing really, really well. Coach Geringer does a good job, and they're kind of what we were talking about earlier. They spread the field. They get their athletes in space, and if your athletes can't tackle them in one-on-one situations, then they're really hard to stop. And I think the key for San Gio will be, can they defend? Can they defend the Citrus Hills? Can they defend the Serranos of the world? Because for San G, offensively, they're always going to be there.
Well, and if you can't out-physical a team, they can also play ball control, right? And keep you from what you like to do, because San G likes to score points. Absolutely. I think 63 last week, right?
What was it against?
It was a very high-scoring game.
59 against
59. Yeah. When I spoke with Coach Geringer over the weekend, he said he kind of patterns what they do after Centennial. I mean, Centennial, you see that they play fast, they score a lot of points, and kind of the Centennial of San Bernardino County.
So there's
right now.
Centennial North.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Of San Bernardino County.
That's an adjunct of Centennial High School. Do you know that, Coach?
I just try to hide. When you showed that Robert Weber deal, I was going to hide under the desk. Every time I see him play, I go hide in my office for about an hour and a half. That kid's a killer.
So it takes you a while to shake that off?
I mean, you could take this home if you need to.
Yeah, you can keep that out of your house.
Halloween.
I didn't know Robert Weber was so fear.
Man, I guess so.
Instills fear in coaches. He's leaving, Coach.
Yeah, thank goodness.
He's leaving.
I've seen enough.
You won't see him. You shouldn't be afraid of him.
I've seen enough of him.
All right. Also in the Eastern Division, we've got the Burros. Very close to my heart, the Burros taking on Tockwitz. And, Tockwitz, we saw them nearly beat Citrus Hill 31-28 in that great Mountain Pass League game. But Citrus Hill didn't hang on that game, and they won the league title. But Tockwitz, they've gone through some some changes at quarterback, but they've still kept it together. And Tockwitz looks to be like a force in the Eastern Division.
Well, you seem to be a big fan of Burros.
The Burros.
I know it goes back to, Steinberg over at Santiago, the former coach at Burros, and he used to cover him when he was at Burros. Can you believe that? That's how old Pep is. Pep doesn't look 60, but he's 60 years old.
Yeah, dude, Steinberg was playing like St. Bonaventure. Like, he had some tough non-league games when he was up there at Burros. He kind of put the Burros on the map, so.
But who's going to win that game?
Tockwitz, of course, but it's not my opinion that matters. We're going to talk to head coach Dennis Gregovich about this, because I have a quote from him. So let me go into.
So, Coach, when it comes to playing against Burros, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, we are 100% focused on a very talented Burros team,
said Coach Gregovich.
I think the whole league is a little underrated. They all play hard-nosed football and very impressive on film. That aside, we hope we can get a win Friday, because we would be very thankful for a second-round opportunity against another opponent. End of quote. So,
thank you, Coach Gregovich. Do you have any questions for Coach Gregovich?
Because I can answer them.
So, Coach Gregovich,
yes.
Are you afraid of Burros, or how does that work for you?
Well, I don't even know where Burros is at technically. It's way up there. I think you hit it on your way to Mammoth. So I don't know. I guess
on
I'm not
395, Coach.
What's
You're
that?
on 395. It's
No.
on 395.
No, I live in Hemet and I stay in Hemet, so that's all I need.
I see. And so you got them at home.
That's right.
You're making them drive a long distance.
Yeah. Well,
and then you're making the game early.
That's right.
Is that very sportsmanly of you?
Hey, home field advantage, man. You see our place? It was #1 in the HS Game Time football stadium rankings. We're #1, so that's how we play. We're the #1 team. And if Jeff Steinberg was still the head coach of the Burros, I might be a little concerned when they had Karsten Sween up there flinging the ball around before he went to Wyoming. You know Wyoming, right? Brown and yellow Cowboys.
Why do all the coaches have southern or have this hillbilly accent?
I don't know. I sound a lot like Coach Broach.
You do,
but it's probably because we're off the same freeway and we're fairly close.
Coach Broach wants to weigh in,
and we both have goatees. But hey, we're gonna talk to Coach Broach when Arlington comes onto the show, because they got a big Arlington game. So,
well, let's move on.
All right. Also,
Silverado, Norte Vista.
Yes. So the Braves winning back-to-back league titles for the first time in school history. And I got to make a correction because I love it. I know Coach Fazio would never do this with Murrieta Valley, but some teams get midway through the season and they change their roster. So some of the numbers move around. So a guy on Friday night said had this kick return touchdown. It wasn't him. It was obviously a roster change. And he hit me up on Twitter and said, hey, I'm number 16 now. And I said, well, I'm sorry. His name was Devanir Crenshaw. So big shout out. He had a big touchdown return for Norte Vista last week as the Braves wrapped up back-to-back league championships. Coach Fazio, the Novi Braves doing big things. And in the Eastern Division, I mean, could it be wide open this season?
Coach Batdorf obviously has been doing a great job there for years. I'm familiar with Silverado from a few years back. We played them a couple of times when we were at Carter, and I know that they are always ultra athletic. So I think that'll be the interesting part of that game will be, you know, Norte Vista is usually really tough and physical with a couple of athletes against Silverado, which has athletes all over the field. And so it'll be interesting to see how that matches up, especially with Norte Vista in that league where you don't see, you know, a ton of ultra athletic teams. It'll be interesting to see how Norte Vista matches up with Silverado's athleticism.
I think it's called bump and grind, Coach.
Yeah.
He's going to grind it, bump them around, make sure you keep them off their feet.
Well, they've got a lot of great skill guys. Andrew Martinez, the big running back. It's kind of like thunder and lightning when they add Fred Hawley back there in the backfield. So Novi taking on Silverado. Rialto taking on Oak Hills, a Rialto team that you saw in the San Andreas League as well, right?
Yep. You know, Oak Hill has done such a great job. They've really got it going up there, and they've done it with young guys. They've built with their young guys. They've done a really nice job. Rialto has a really good quarterback. Giovanni Morgan is an excellent quarterback. It's been tough for them defensively for a couple of years, so I think, again, that'll be the question won't be, well, can Rialto move the football? The question will be, can they get any stops and get their offense back the ball without giving up a touchdown every single time?
All right.
Turnovers. What are turnovers playing a game like with Rialto? Rialto has issues sometimes holding on to the football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in any game, and especially when you're looking to score an upset, when you're looking to knock off a seeded team, you know you've got to be safe with the ball, and you know you've got to force a couple of turnovers. And so for Rialto, I think probably not only do they need to win the turnover battle, they need to win it by 1 or 2. I mean, they need to get 3 or 4 turnovers and limit themselves, and that's the way you kind of even the score a little bit when you're trying to get an upset.
Absolutely.
All right, Hemet taking on Serrano. Zink, I got an email today from someone in Hemet, Michael Martin. He said the potential first-round upset of the year could be Hemet taking on Serrano, which I believe Serrano's like the number 2 seed in the Eastern Division. They went to the CIF Championship last year before losing to Citrus Hill. So why don't you and Fazio discuss Hemet and Serrano? He called it. There would be a huge monumental upset for the Bulldogs to win this thing.
Well, and the fact is that Hemet is coming off of a very dry patch, for lack of a better term. They spend a lot of time in the last couple years just trying to get back. They finally just got the bell back, and so they, Coach Reitz is doing a great job out there with that team. But that's a big hill to climb to try and get past Serrano. I think that they have the capability of running with them for a bit. I don't know if they can keep with them the whole game. What do you think?
Yeah, beating Coach Powell and San Jacinto is a big deal. I mean, you got to work to beat Coach Powell. You got to work to beat San Jacinto. But beating Serrano is a whole different ball of wax. I mean, Serrano's physical and fast and athletic, as well coached as any team in the area. So again, winning against San Jacinto is tough. But if you get a win against Serrano, you've done your work. They're a really good football team.
Yeah, and the Mojave River League is throughout a pretty stout league. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in that league. In the division, I think you have to look at like the River Valley League and the Mojave River Valley League. Mojave River League. I don't know.
They're all named the same.
But my point is that that you have some teams that like want to take the ball and run with it, but these teams want to beat the heck out of you and control the football a lot.
Boy, that's certainly what Serrano wants to do. I mean, I've seen Serrano play a number of times. I know Coach Mihalchik pretty well, and they're going to get after you. They do what they do. They're not going to change. They're not going to come out and get in the spread and throw it 50 times. They're going to run it at you. They're going to be physical. They're going to run their power and their power pitch, and you better be ready for it. And typically, they wear guys down. And in the third and fourth quarter, they see if you still stand up to them.
Yeah. And then, we want to go finish through this, or we want to keep
Let's do this. Let's wrap up the Eastern Division talking to the Moreno Valley Vikings. So, Coach Fazio, if you can just get up for a second, we're going to bring in the head coach from
whenever you want me.
Don't go too
No,
far.
don't go too far.
Because we
We'll
still
call
got to
you
get to
back in a minute.
Eisenhower and some of these Southwestern League schools. So now joining us, Ted Watkins from the Moreno Valley Vikings. And Zink, I'm going to let you hit him up for a second and talk Mo Valley. You have to use that mic. I'm going to go over here and talk to the guys. So
Coach, back in the playoffs again this year, 8-2 kind of snuck up on me. I looked at your record and I thought, my gosh, that's a darn good season. It seemed a little rough at times, but you guys have done a really good job of keeping it together and moving into the playoffs. You got a lot of momentum.
You know what? Last year we were 8-2. This year we're 8-2. So we've been that the last couple of years. And to be honest with you, we're 2 plays away from being undefeated. We lost to Norte Vista on an interception on the last play of the game in the end zone, and we really should have beat Paloma Valley. I kind of screwed the pooch on. We should have kicked a field goal, and we didn't. And we didn't get out of bounds on third down. So we ended up going into overtime. So, really 2 plays away from being an undefeated football team.
And you guys have survived some injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane went out game 4 with an ACL tear, and we've had a backup quarterback come in. Justice Tyler has done an outstanding job for us. His first game was against Paloma Valley, and he did really well in that game. We lost, but in overtime, but he did real well. And then he was a little banged up against Novi. I wish he was healthy against Novi. That would have been a different game. So.
And a tough league. I mean, the River Valley League is reasonably a tough league to get through. I mean, it's good test for the playoffs.
Yeah, the funny thing is last year I didn't think it was that good a league. This year was a little bit better. Patriot was a real good football team this year. They didn't make the playoffs, but they were a real good football team. Ramona ended up getting in, and that if you look at the end of the year, they scored a ton of points at the end of the year, so they're well deserving as well. So yeah, it was a good league.
So what do you think it's going to take for Moreno Valley to move on through the first round of the playoffs?
We're going to have to play a really good game. Carter's an extremely good football team. I think they're 17-3 the last 20 regular season games. We're 16-4. So it's just we're going to have to play one of our better football games, and I think we're up to the task. So we'll see what happens on Friday.
Well, looking forward to that game, and also looking forward to these players in that game. My gosh, that's a big crew right there. What do you got there, Pep?
I don't know. Let's find out. We got some of the Mo Valley Vikings join us. See if this will reach. Yeah, it'll reach. So let's go down the line. Just give me your name and position.
Mikel Troop, right tackle. Freddie Gonzalez, left guard.
Bernie Pula, linebacker.
Sean Moore, wide receiver and safety.
Anthony Burrell, wide receiver.
Be real. Be real. That's right. All right, here, guys, let's take one big step forward for me. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're talking your head coach over here, and you guys finished second in the River Valley League, 8-2 overall. Great record. What's it going to take to beat a very good Carter team and keep this playoff run going? Be real.
Well, I mean, Coach Watkins drew up a great game plan and stuff. So if we execute, then I feel like we should just be just fine. But it's really up to us, us players, to see what we do on Friday night. I mean, we're 16-5 in the last 2 years. So I mean, it's not like we're just some pushovers. So we'll see.
Now, your 2 losses was an overtime to Paloma Valley, a close one to Norte Vista. I mean, you guys could easily be 10-0, right? Do you think about how good this team is and where you guys could still take this possibly?
Yeah, I think we could go all the way to the championship. It depends on how we push ourselves. Like you said, we've been practicing hard. We just been trying to come together as a family. So it's really up to us on the outcome of the game.
What do you think the keys are Friday night going into this game against Carter?
Honestly, on defense-wise, I think we just got to line up right and do our assignments. And then offense, if we just remember all our plays and execute them, then we'll be good. We'll be straight.
Now, it all starts up front at the line, right, guys? I mean, that's where the game's won. So just talk about the importance of the line and performing well on Friday against the Lions.
Honestly, we perform well up front. We'll be set for the rest of the game. It's just the minimal mistakes we have. If we can clean them up, I think we got this game.
Spin around here. Same thing, the importance of the line.
It's going to be a dogfight. We just have to keep pushing and pushing until it's just over. Don't give up.
How bad do you guys want this playoff win? I mean, it's right there in front of you. The Eastern Division looks like it's up for grabs. Anyone can take it. I mean, you guys all go down the line. Just tell me what it's going to take to not only win a playoff game, but make this run all the way to the championship.
We got to stay healthy, keep practicing like we play. If you practice good, you'll win.
Like last year, we were one and done. We're not trying to do this again or repeat like last year. We got to go fight what we want.
So for you guys coming back, I mean, is that motivation? Like, hey, that was a bad feeling to just go 1 and out.
Yes, it really is, because after starting last year and seeing how things are done, I think we have more motivation of seeing how we could do this year and how far we could go far in the playoffs this year.
All right, playoff run. What's it going to take?
Man, it's just going to take us practicing hard. We have another day to practice, and if we practice hard, we're going to practice how we play.
Same thing?
I really just think it's just take dedication, desire, and discipline. That's it.
That's what you guys are doing in practice, right?
Every day.
battling through injuries, but you guys are still here in the playoffs. I mean, let's finish with be real down here. What's it going to take to not only win a game, but win a couple games here in the CIF playoffs?
Well, like seeing our seniors like last year, like how they felt, like hearing their words after that loss to Beaumont last season. I mean, it just wasn't a good feeling, like being a starter on that team and just like seeing them like lose with their head down, like we did this whole season for no reason. And our senior class, like I mean, we all agreed as seniors to execute and to fight, like give it everything we got for our last year, like so that's what we're planning to do.
All right, you heard it here first. Mo Val not ready to go 1-0 in the CIF playoffs this year. The Vikings told me for a long run in the Eastern Division playoffs. Let's go back to David Zink and head coach.
Well, I'm back
Ted
here
Watkins.
with Coach Watkins, and the most amazing thing about your season, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that your son Dane goes down with a knee injury. It's quarterback. I mean, that's a key position, a very key position in high school football, and yet you guys kept it together and were able to finish strong. I mean, it's a credit obviously to you, but I mean, who do you have at quarterback now, and how did that transition work?
We have a kid named Justice Tyler, and he's been with us, for the last couple of years, and he's, not a true quarterback, but he's an athlete playing quarterback, and he's done a great job for us, filled in. He ran the stuff during the spring while Dane wasn't there. We've kind of been a quarterback by committee on some different plays that we do because we had some stuff in that Justice doesn't do well and that another kid does well out of our Wildcat set. So we've kind of done it by position by just what we were going to run. We'd put a different guy in. Now Justice is completely healthy again, so we feel like he can do everything in our offense. So he's pretty much the guy this week, and he'll run the show for us.
So, looking reasonably at what are the keys for you to get out of this first round with Carter? Carter seems to be a pretty talented team, but what are the keys for you to get into the second round?
Like our kids said, if we execute our plays offensively, I think we'll score points. And, we've just got to play well on defense. We feel like if we've lined up right against people defensively this year, we've played extremely well. The big thing is whenever we've had a wrinkle or two that we don't line up well to, then teams have exposed us a little bit. But we think we've had a good week of practice, and we think we'll line up well, and we think we'll compete and play well. So, it's just a matter of our guys up front executing what they're supposed to do. They got some good skill guys. We got some good skill guys. So it's really going to come down to who executes their offensive scheme during the game.
Okay, so wild card question. Coach is always talking nowadays about uniform changes and those kinds of things to keep the kids interested in the program and things like that. I've lived in this area for most of my 46 years, and I've never seen a Moval uniform look like that. I've seen some really clean-looking Moval uniforms, and those are really nice in today's world. Kids obviously love them. Any thought going to that, or is it just like hey, let them pick that out? How does that work for you guys?
No, there was definite thought into it. We're a school that doesn't attract kids naturally. I mean, we don't have the facilities that some schools have, so we decided to do it the other way. We were going to go the Oregon route, where we have two sets of helmets. We got a flat black helmet. We got a blue helmet. We've never worn the same uniform yet this year. Once we've different setup every single game this year for us, and so that was kind of done by design to get kids to get interested in Moreno Valley and realize that we do have multiple sets of outfits. We do have multiple helmets, and so it was done by design in that respect.
And it's amazing because across the board, you go to games now, and sometimes I don't even know who that team is. It's halfway through the season, Notre Dame High School got new uniforms. They said it was because they ordered them late, but they had two sets and then a third set of uniforms. And I see this, but I got to say, I hope you have one set of uniforms that's that old school Moreno Valley Vikings, because I really enjoyed that when I was growing up.
No, we still have a royal blue set. So we got a royal blue, a navy blue, a black set, and a white set. So we think we've done a good job of starting to get a group of uniforms, and next year we're going to get a gold set. So, we think we've done a good job where we'll have 6 complete different sets next year. So it's a one way to get the kids to want to stay at Moreno Valley High School instead of wanting to leave. And just the fact that we've been successful on the field, we feel like we've kept the majority of our kids that way. So.
Well, and obviously Dane's not playing through the end of the season, but give us a little update on where Dane's at and then what he's doing going forward.
He had his surgery last Thursday, his ACL surgery. It was a very successful surgery. So, not right now, we're just in that wait mode for him to be able to start running and start jogging again. And so then he'll start his rehab. He tore his left knee and came here for a year back when he was in the 8th grade and hasn't had any issues with his left knee since. So, we'll start that process in about a month of him starting to rehab it. So,
and Pep, and
yes.
He told me that the interesting thing is, tell Pep what you said to me about knee injuries and your son.
I've coached 27 years high school football and never had a kid tear his ACL. My kid does it twice.
It's unbelievable.
It's just bad luck.
But he's only a junior, right?
he's only a junior.
We'll see him next
back
season.
Next year, right? So
With 2 strong knees now.
Hopefully, come back as the bionic man over here.
Well, Coach, I know it's a really busy week, and I so appreciate you guys coming down and saying hi to us. We're rooting for you. We hope to see you guys moving on to the second round.
Appreciate you guys having us down.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you
very much, Coach.
Watkins, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck to
Well, there you have it.
Mo Val opening
Yet
the
another
CIF
playoff
playoffs. Yes, and all their uniforms.
Get some sleep, guys.
That's Be Real. That is. It's Be Real. So, yeah, they've got some. And what do I always say? Look good, feel good, play good. So.
Well, and you know, it's becoming more of a factor. You see in high school programs. It used to be you would always hear about it in college, but you know that right there, that uniform is nothing like any uniform I've ever seen at Moreno
And look
Valley
on the
High
back;
School.
they got the Viking ship on the back.
Yeah, and
so.
it's cool because it's a different look. But you know, they have that traditional one that's still it's great. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the traditional Viking they have, I think they still have it on their gym. Spectacular. I mean, it's just great. But hopefully they'll stick with that one too. But just make it multiple uniforms. As you said, they've got like 3 or 4. They've never worn the same uniform twice.
Well, if they win in this uniform, I think you keep it going. You know, don't break it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of a thing.
Well, next year they're going to go with gold uniforms. They're going to have gold uniforms.
Like you said, they're the
With
Oregon
black
of Moreno Valley.
They have 6 different.
Actually, speaking of Oregon, Murrieta Valley has like the feathered helmets, right? Yeah.
We went with the little feather on the helmet.
Man.
They're pretty cool. Kids like them.
I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, well, we need new uniforms, so we're like one of the few teams. I'm not a big uniform guy. I mean, that's never been my thing, but ours are like ripping up the side. I mean, we actually need uniforms.
But you bought helmets?
No, we have the same helmets, just new stickers. Same helmets, new stickers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think you'll probably see us in new uniforms next year. Ours are pretty ugly, so we got to get going again.
Good. That's good. That's really good.
All right, so we just spent 30 minutes on the Eastern Division, so we got to really keep this going. So we're going to go to the
30 minutes.
I know we went.
Well, it should. Aren't that where all the great teams are?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we got to go to the Inland Division, where Coach Fazio obviously has a lot of ties to. Let's start with maybe the premier matchup: Great Oak taking on Norco.
That's a great game.
And Great Oak. Listen, Coach, I got to be honest. I picked Great Oak to beat Murrieta Valley. I picked Great Oak. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I take it back. Hold on. Let me backtrack. I picked Murrieta Valley to beat Great Oak. I picked Heritage to beat Great Oak. I picked Rancho Verde to pick Great Oak. So they always seem to surprise me. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just not flashy enough. I don't know what it is. They're a great team, but for some reason, I always pick against them. I mean, what makes Great Oak dangerous?
Boy, they're pretty flashy. You look at their receiver, Brandon Presley is one of the best high school receivers I've ever seen. He's amazing. Kid with over 1,000 yards receiving, double-digit touchdowns. Their running back, Nick Fisher, every time we see him on film, we say Nick Fisher's a stone-cold killer. Nick Fisher is a stone-cold killer, man. 1,300-yard runner, plays defense too, plays corner. They get really good quarterback play out of Laquan Williams. And they're tough up front. They're tougher than people think they are on the offensive and defensive lines. So for them, I think the key is going to be they have to possess the football offensively because they have defensively worn down in a couple games. Our game, we scored 14 points in the fourth quarter against them. You watch with Chaparral, they gave up 14 points late to lose the Chaparral game. So they've worn down on defense, and Norco can wear you down, man.
Corey Young, right? I mean, their running back is a stud.
Is a star, so they can wear you down, and I think that'll come down to can Great Oak keep their defense off the field and keep those guys as fresh as possible late in the game. If they can, that's a game. That's a winnable game for Great Oak.
Well, the Norco has caught fire since kind of retooling a little bit of what they do offensively, and they've caught fire, and I really don't know that there's much you can do to try and stop them. You might want to keep with them. I mean, Corey Young goes for over 400 yards a week or so ago, and you think, okay, that's rushing, but they've got another kid who went for, I think, 130 in that same game. They had like 600 and some yards, 600 and some yards rushing. So, I mean, it's one of those things where they kind of made the changes they had to. Credit goes to the staff because they really
Larry Baker
they didn't start the season well, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and they're finishing.
I mean,
really
they beat
well.
Alamany too, if you want to go back towards non-league play.
And there were other teams in the area that did not. So
Centennial, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you gave me the nudge. You gave me the nudge.
I wanted you to say it because I don't want Matt Logan mad at me, Matt.
You didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I don't want Matt Logan mad at me either.
Yeah.
We're cool, man.
Yeah, we're cool.
He didn't say it. It was Pep.
All All right, let's go on to Santiago and Eisenhower, your former team, Coach, and they beat Redlands East Valley last week, 28-14, to clinch a share of the Citrus Belt League title for the second year in a row. And I mean, Eisenhower, I guess not a lot of people have talked about them all year. When we did the rankings, they'd always get like a couple votes, but I don't know, they weren't at the forefront. I mean, all of a sudden, everyone's like, whoa, Eisenhower, they're good. And Santiago kind of, backpedaling into the playoffs a little bit. I mean, does Eisenhower have a shot against Santiago?
What a great win for Eisenhower.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really a program-defining kind of a win, and hopefully they can build on that for years to come. At the same time, that's a bad loss for Redlands East Valley. I mean, that really is a tough way to lose that game when it seemed like they had kind of got it rolling a little bit. Eisenhower plays really good defense. Those kids play really hard. They're physical. Marquand Harris obviously is a fabulous player at quarterback, playmaker type of a player. I think it's a tough draw for them. I think Santiago offensively is so good that they'll put pressure. I mean, I think Ike will be able to move the ball against them, because it seems like everybody kind of does. Mm-hmm. But I think, I've seen Santiago in that 5-wide stuff, and they're getting their quarterback healthy again. He's back a little bit. So,
but would you say Ike's secondary is a strength? I mean, Santiago likes to throw, and Ike's secondary is a strength. It's going to be a good battle there.
He's a great player,
yeah.
and they got good players back there. I don't know if they can generate enough pass rush to disrupt Santiago up front, and again, maybe they can. They're going to, again, I think similar deal to Great Oak. They're going to have to possess the football. They're going to have to keep the ball away from Santiago a little bit. And like we talked about earlier with Rialto, they're going to have to force some turnovers. They forced those turnovers against Rev,
yep.
One for a touchdown, and that made the big difference in that game. I think that's, again, Eisenhower's path, possess the football, force a couple of turnovers, and maybe be able to be in it in the fourth quarter. Then, once you're in the fourth quarter, then you never know. What the heck? Might as well win it at that point.
Well, two questions come to mind, Coach. First of all, Santiago is a team that's been kind of backpedaling the last few weeks, and they've struggled against teams they probably should have handled a little better. Eisenhower's been coming on the last 2 weeks. That should probably play in their favor, you think?
Yeah, certainly how you're playing, and momentum is a big factor in playoff play. But again, like I said, I think Eisenhower's got a chance in this game. It's at Eisenhower, which is a really tough place to play. That is a tough home field. I don't know that they've lost there. I guess Redlands maybe knocked them off. We didn't lose any games there 2 years ago. I think they have one loss there this year. It's a tough place to play as an opponent coming into play there. So you never know. Maybe they can win one for the CBL.
My final question on this game is, I know you got gear. Are you wearing the gear, and are you going to the game?
I'm not going to the game, but I am wearing the gear. I'll be cheering them on from a distance. My wife has forbid me from going to any games this week.
It's your first Friday night off, right?
This is my first Friday night off. She's taking me to Temecula. She's got like 4 or 5 restaurants picked out. We're going to go to all of them. So, I'm not going to any games this week, but I'll be checking my phone for the Eisenhower score.
So Coach is a little whooped.
Well, you know what?
I guess I know you're wearing pants, but I know where's the pants at home. Hey, as we are.
All right, so I'm just over here texting Matt Logan, telling him what you guys said. But let's go to the Centennial game. That's our next one. Etiwanda against Centennial. Maybe we should talk to Robert Weber at this point.
Wow.
So this is your boy Webb, if you follow on Twitter. And Robert, you guys are on a roll. Even Coach Fazio says, you guys have been doing some great things offensively. What's it going to take to get back to the CIF championship game?
Well, we approach every opponent the same way. We understand that every team has its strengths, and we want to be able to defeat them with their strengths. We respect Etiwanda very much, and we just hope to be able to move on to the second round and hope that we stay healthy.
That's coach talk. Give me the real answer. You guys how many are you going to put on Etiwanda? Throw me a number.
We're
80?
hoping to be able to move the football up and down
70?
the field. If all goes well,
Robert,
I think we can score. We can score against them. But you really have to give credit to Etiwanda for making the playoffs. They struggled throughout the season, but they came on strong to the playoffs, and we just hope that we'll be able to keep up with them.
Man, I got to say, you must have done a lot of interviews because you know exactly what to say. So I think you said 80 points. Is that what you said?
Well, Coach Logan tells us. Father Logan tells us.
All right, so
you're not going to get anything out of me. Why don't you go get Beware?
All right, so Beware, Berryware. All right, so Robert Weber, thank you very much for joining us on the Blitz.
You're welcome. We just hope to be lucky this week. Thanks. Wow, he was pretty close to the vest.
Very insightful. A lot of good things.
He did not want to give anything up, Coach.
He's polished. It's like he's done these interviews before.
Man.
Obviously.
All right, so let's go on to Vista Murrieta taking on Los Osos. I know a lot of people think that Vista Murrieta and Centennial are on this collision course to meet for the 4th straight season, but they do have to win a couple more games in advance. Coach Fazio, you've seen Vista Murrieta. Defense, offense, special teams. I mean, I don't know. Is there a weakness with the Broncos?
You know, to me, for Vista Murrieta, it's about two guys. It's about Colton Gerhardt, the quarterback, and it's about Curtis Bolton on the defensive line. And those two guys are the difference makers. And when those two guys get rolling, you know, I can't count how many times we hit Colton Gerhardt in the backfield and you just bounce right off that guy. It's like he's made of titanium or something. You just bounce off. And you watch Curtis Bolton play on film, and this dude is one of the most underrated defensive players in the state of California. He's a 3-star recruit. Curtis Bolton's a 5-star recruit, if that ever existed. You know, Bob Stoops didn't miss it.
Yeah, he got him.
So that kid runs around the field like his hair's on fire. He's a crazy man. And so you get those two guys rolling, and that really is what Vista's about. And then obviously they do a great job in the kick game. Coach Candell takes that really seriously and coaches the kick game very hard. It's a tough matchup. They're a tough draw. That's a tough place to play. You know, you're playing in front of, 13,000 rabid Wolverines on the Vista Murrieta sideline. So tough draw, tough draw for Los Osos. But they're a good football team. Los Osos got beat Norco earlier in the year.
Yeah,
they have a good football team, so I don't think they're afraid. They're going to go over there and play, but, God bless them.
It's Vista Murrieta. I mean, we know.
Where's the Coley Candell face?
Yeah.
we're just happy to be on the same field.
Yeah. All right. So now on to Redlands East Valley taking on Rancho Cucamonga. We kind of touched on it.
Before we go any farther,
you want to go back to Vista or what?
What do you think he's just game planning for next year? Was he setting seeds?
Yeah.
He's just planting
for
little
next
seeds.
season.
Coach, I really no, I'm just kidding. Give me a hard time. Okay, go.
You don't have Centennial in your non-league, do you? No.
God, no. And they could quit calling us too. Tell them to quit calling us.
We don't want to play you.
We're full.
We said no. No is no.
I'll tell Matt you're really into that.
Yeah, right.
All right, so Redlands East Valley, Coach, you touched on it. Hard loss for the Wildcats against Eisenhower in that final game of the regular season. How do they bounce back and take on a very good Rancho Cucamonga team who at one point was #1 by the CIF in the Inland Division rankings?
Yeah, I mean, not at one point. Last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not just, we played Rancho earlier in the year. I know how physical they are. They are physically imposing. They are an impose-your will kind of a team, particularly defensively. One thing Rev has going for it is Coach Bruick does a fabulous job. And so if anybody can get their team rallied and get their team going again, it's Kurt Bruick. They're well coached. They're well prepared. It is hard to play against Rancho with a senior quarterback. It is really hard with a freshman quarterback. And Rancho Cucamonga defensively is loaded. And I just, Rev is going to have to, again, they're going to have to get a few breaks. They're going to have to make some plays defensively and hope they can create some turnovers. But that Rancho defense is very, very difficult to move the football against.
Yeah, the freshman Armando Herrera will be tested. Mark Nielsen did play, I think, a little bit of Wildcat against Eisenhower, but he had the broken bone, I believe, in his hand. So but Armando Herrera getting most of the snaps there.
Would it concern you at all that Rev how they finished the year? Because they kind of struggled coming in. They had a really strong center section of their season. I don't know if it was injuries or whatever, because I haven't followed them close enough. But would that concern you at all?
Well, if you look at how they were doing, they were really rolling going into that Eisenhower game. I mean, they're playing great. They blew Redlands out, blew UKIPA out, so they're really kind of rolling after they play that Murderers Row schedule early in the year. But that Eisenhower game kind of came out of nowhere, and I know how good Eisenhower is. They got a good football team, but that really was a surprise, I think, to a lot of people. And so, for Redlands East Valley, it's can you circle the wagons? Can you get everybody going again? And then, oh, by the way, play this team that had been #1 in the CIF for most of the year. And I just think that Rancho defense is so good.
Yeah.
Unga up front, big number 54. He comes and gets you, man, and he comes every single down. And they're very talented in the secondary. Hard to really get a lot going throwing the ball. Coach Baez, will have a great plan there. So tough draw for Rev, but I think Rancho is one of those teams you got to look at real close that could be a team to make some noise here going forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How about Ukaipa in the Inland Division? Tough draw for the Thunderbirds as they get Charter Oak in the first round.
Actually, pretty good draw for
Good
the
for them.
Thunderbirds. I mean, you figure you looked at that bracket and thought they're going to Centennial or they're going to
That's
Vista
true.
Murrieta.
That's true.
I mean, to not be going to Centennial or Vista Murrieta is a great draw for any third place team or wild card team. So really pretty good draw. Charter Oak has come on after struggling early in the year. I think Coach Farrar's got them fixed, and it sounds like they're rolling again. So, it's never going to be easy if you're a third place team in the Inland Division. You're going to play somebody really good. Again, Charter Oak is really good, but if you're Ukaipa, I mean, you're not going to Centennial, you're not going to Vista.
Yeah.
So at some point, you got to count your blessings a little bit.
Man, Coach Fazio really excited for these teams not to play Vista or Centennial. I think he's got nightmares about these two teams.
And he really enjoys the fact that Coach Price doesn't have to play him either.
Well, I mean, good for him.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So and then with Chino Hills Chaparral. I mean, you obviously played Chaparral. I mean, what
Starts with their defense, right?
Chino Hills though is they start off the season pretty strong. In the league, obviously they didn't perform as well, but they're still a good program.
Yeah, strange loss for Chino Hills. And again, I didn't see the film, so I don't know what happened with them against Damien. Strange loss, though, for them based on how everything had been going. I really thought Chino Hills was a 10-0 kind of team after the way they played early in the year. Not a great draw for Chaparral, really. I mean, a really good opponent. Chaparral defensively is very fast and very physical. Really good in the secondary. Dalton Knight on the D-line makes a big difference. Alexander Pierce at linebacker, is a kid that's made like 120-something tackles. So you're playing against a good defense. Coach Hunt does a great job. They have a great plan every week. And they do enough offensively. They just do enough. They don't turn it over. They're physical up front. They try to do enough and let their defense take games over, and they've been successful. I mean, really they got a loss to Vista, but took Tesoro to overtime. And played Oceanside tough. I mean, they're right there in that game with Oceanside.
So you think if they can get the offense going even just a little bit, I mean, this could be a very dangerous team.
I think it's a Chaparral's game to lose.
Yeah.
I think Chaparral's going to play really well defensively, like they usually do. And again, they just do enough. They just do enough on offense and keep you off balance and possess the football and make it hard with their defense.
It's that kind of sneaky good that some teams have,
They're
where you just kind of they kind of sneak up on you and beat you, and you're like, what the hell?
The other thing about Chaparral is they're kind of a deal where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You look at Chaparral and you're like, not really one guy that stands out. It's just everybody. They all play hard. They all play well. They're all physical. They're all fast. So it's not just one or two guys. It's a whole team full of guys. And so in that way, they're kind of sneaky too, in that it's a whole team that plays well, and it's kind of the whole being greater than the sum of the parts.
Kind of sounds like a program you have, where you guys really, everybody playing together. You guys are really good, but I've never heard anybody say that's an overpowering team, but you guys are overpowering.
Certainly what I hope we're going to become. I hope that's what we're becoming, and I think as the year went on and we took the injuries we took, that is what we started to become, because it was next man up. Michael Robles goes out, Quincy Wimbish steps up and runs for 900 yards. Our offensive tackle, Christian Vinsky, goes out. Marcos Villegas steps in, never played O-line before in his life, was a D-lineman, and does a great job for us for the rest of the way out. So that's kind of what we're trying to become. And I think in the Southwestern League, you really don't have any choice. I mean, you've got to be that kind of team if you're going to compete week in and week out with Vista Murrieta, Great Oak, Chaparral, Murrieta Mesa, Temecula Valley. I mean, you put Temecula Valley in almost any other league, they're a playoff caliber team. I mean, their quarterback was playing as well as anybody. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what you have to be out there.
All the time.
Shout out to Kyle Plantier right there for the Golden Bears. Let's punch up our HS Game Time Top 10, and it's heavy with Southwestern League teams as well as the Big Eight. We've got Vista Murrieta on top. I don't know if you see this, Coach Fazio, but Vista Murrieta 1, Centennial, followed by Norco, Rancho Verde, Chaparral, Heritage, Great Oak, San Gorgonio, Riverside Poly, and Santiago checking in at number 10.
And it's been a tough. Actually, it's not.
The top two.
Five of the teams are not tough. And then the other 5, it's hard. We've had a mix of teams go in and out, Eisenhower included, in and out of this poll because you have a lot of teams that are playing right about the same level.
Yeah.
And from week to week, you're like, well, they didn't really, and you move them out, move them in, move them out, move them in. It took us all year to get Pauley in there in an 8-2 team in a decent league. I mean, it took a while to get in there.
And Great Oak has been a real head scratcher because, they beat Rancho Verde, who we have at number 4, and Heritage at number 6. They beat both those teams, but we've got Great Oak farther down at number 7. So it's hard to figure out.
It's a weird world.
Great Oak, Great Oak is a little bit of Rodney Dangerfield out there. I mean, they really are because people looked at us. Great Oak beat us by 1, 28-27, and people looked at us and went, well, what happened? It's like, well, they're really good. They're phenomenally good. I mean, they got a bunch of good dudes. They're a great team. Coach Robinson's a great coach. I mean, what happened? We lost by 1 point to a really, really good team. So, yeah, I think Great Oak, and I think that showed in the seeding. I mean, I think, boy, that's a tough seed for them, to be playing Norco in the first round with a really good football team.
But you come away with a win there. And you pretty much
absolutely
battle-tested for the rest of the division.
I think that's a winnable game for Great Oak. I think they're going to continue to surprise people. Now, again, Norco's phenomenally good, but I think Great Oak is better. They are better than people think they are. They are a really good team.
So after about a couple weeks at Murrieta Valley, did you go, what the heck am I doing? I was in a league. I was getting comfortable with that whole thing.
Just won a title, league title.
It up. Why don't we just go climb Everest? Let's see what we can do here.
Yeah, you know what though? This is why you do it. You do it to play against the best teams. You do it to compete against the best teams, and we have an opportunity to do that every week. And like I said, I'm disappointed we didn't get in the playoffs, but I'm proud of what we did this season. To go 6-4, we started with those kids in July, and went 6-4 with a win over Roosevelt, win over Elsinore, chance to beat Great Oak. We're right there. Beat Murrieta Mesa. I'm proud of the way our kids played. I'm proud of the way we handle ourselves. We're going to get better in the offseason. We're going to be better. Murrieta Valley can be better next year than they were this year. And we're going to be better the year after that when all these sophomores are grown men and not little kids playing in the Southwestern League. So I'm proud of the way we play. We have a darn good football team. I'm sad we're not still playing.
Yeah.
We have a really good team. And a team that I would say we'll go play pretty much anybody. And I like our team. I think we're still good. We had a great weightlifting session today with the kids that are coming back. I mean, how proud does that make me as a coach that those kids come in and grind weightlifting? They cried. We're crying over the weekend. We're tears in our eyes because we thought we were going to be in the playoffs and we're not. And those kids hit the weights today. The best weight room session I can remember since I was at the University of Redlands coaching for Coach Maynard. So I'm proud to be the coach at Murrieta Valley. Our kids did a great job. I'm disappointed we're not still playing, but I'm not disappointed at all in the job our staff and our kids did this year. We were awesome. And hopefully next year we'll be good enough to get in. I'm proud of our kids.
Well, I wasn't trying to disrespect.
No, I know that.
No, but I mean, it's one of those kind of, you have a tough enough row to hoe, and then you say, let's just make it a little tougher. Let's raise the bar. I think it's great, though. I really do. I think it's great for football in this area to say that you can go from over at Eisenhower to Murrieta Valley and have 2 really strong leagues and still have to compete, raise the bar, do all those things.
Absolutely. What a great league to coach in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's amazing. Instead of, sulking and being, we're not in the playoffs, you guys are already hitting the weights saying we're going to make this better next year.
I'm proud of our kids, man. It was awesome. They fired me up today.
I can tell.
We can tell.
Man, they fired me up.
But last summer in July when he came to interview you, were fired up.
I'm always fired up.
Yeah.
Keep Robert Weber away from me.
Yeah. He's done. He's done for the night.
Keep him away from me.
He's done for the night. But we're going on to the Central Division now, and a team that you scrimmage against Heritage. They've got a big game against Arlington, and we've got another face we're going to bring in here
Oh, geez.
for another interview. Yeah, it's that one. Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to him in a second. We're going to get to him in a second. So Arlington taking on Heritage. Heritage, here's what you need to know. 20-0 all-time in the Sun Belt League. They won another league championship, 9-1. The only blemish on their schedule was that 3-point loss to Great Oak. And Arlington beat North on Friday. They thought their season was done. They get in as an at-large team.
They thought their season was so done that when Eric Paul Johnson called Coach McCarthy to find out his comment on making the playoffs, he said, what?
Did he really?
What? Yeah,
He was
didn't
surprised?
Even know. He didn't even know. Eric Paul Johnson broke that news to him.
The news.
That's how shocked he was making the playoffs.
Breaking a story.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, so we have a very special guest, the quarterback for the Arlington Lions, Wyatt Moore. Wyatt, thanks for joining us.
Excuse me, Pep.
The old gunslinger, right?
There you
Okay,
go.
all right. We've got the old gunslinger from Arlington. So Wyatt, you guys sneak into the playoffs. You got a huge test against Heritage on Friday. What's it going to take to beat a very good Patriots team?
Well, I heard Robert Weber earlier. Like any good quarterback,
Here we go.
I understand the importance of being within the program. Coach McCarthy has taught us all that we need to play together, work hard, practice hard, and then good things will happen. So I'm looking forward to this game, and we're excited to be in the playoffs.
Are you growing a mustache like Coach McCarthy for a playoff run or anything like that?
If I could grow a mustache, I would.
But you can't?
Right now,
Can
I'm growing sideburns.
Okay, you're working on that?
Trying.
Working on. Okay, well, to counter the Arlington side of the story, we have Heritage as well, and I'm Coach Broach, and I'm back. I'm ready to talk about the big game. How's it going, Coach Fazio?
Coach Roach, good to see you again, man. How's it going?
Oh, man, it's good to see you, too. I wish you guys were still playing like us.
We do, too. We do, too. Hey, we'll see you in the scrimmage next year, though.
Okay, you got it. Pencil me in. I'll be there with my team after we win another. Or we haven't won a CIF championship, have we? I don't think we have. I think
time to win one. This is the year.
We've gone to the title game, but we lost. But not this year. We got a lot of HEFOs, and you know how we do. So Wyatt, I hope you're not going to be throwing the ball against my secondary. We got some good guys like Matt Palmer running around. We're going to pick you off.
Excuse me, Coach?
Yeah.
It's not Wyatt.
Oh, the old gunslinger, Wyatt Moore.
I plan to throw up and down the field against you guys. Hit the underneath routes, hit the deep routes. Get my R. Kelly running the ball.
Listen, I got Matthew Palmer, man. We call him the model. He's a model citizen, a model football player. He's just the standard back there, and he's going to pick you off if you try to throw with that left hand of yours, you old gunslinger.
I'm southpaw. Hey, I'll come at you. I'll come at you from all directions. I can throw left-handed. I can throw right-handed.
Hey, your favorite target's a guy named Lovey, Lavelle Thomas. They call him Lovey. Come on, man. That's not very tough.
Deep. Try to catch him, Coach. Try to catch him.
Oh man, well you rascal, you old gunslinger. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you on Friday.
Well, best of luck to you, Coach.
You too, man. You keep up with those good interviews and those really interesting, candid remarks.
Coach McCarthy, I'm really at practice. And there you have it.
Coach Broach back.
Coach
Wyatt
Broach
Moore.
and Wyatt Moore. Oh, the old gunslinger.
The old
gunslinger.
All right,
Pep gave him that nickname.
All right, so we've been going an hour strong, so we got to keep this moving. So Colton taking on Rancho Verde, and Rancho made it to the CIF championship game last season, losing that tough one to Kaiser. The Cats had that bizarre play to win it with that touchdown. But Coach Fazio, Rancho Verde loaded with so many great skill position players. Are the Mustangs the favorite to get it done?
I think absolutely. Totally loaded. Great quarterback play. Coach Duffy just does such a great job. Everybody thinks that these kids just fall out of the sky to Rancho Verde, and that's not true. They develop their players. Their players get better from their freshman to sophomore to junior years, and that's the thing that I think people need to know about Rancho Verde. It's not like these guys, he doesn't walk down the street with a van and just get kids to jump in and go play. I mean, these kids are developed, and Coach Duffy does a great job, and that's why Rancho Verde is good every single year. They're not counting on transfers coming in. They're developing the homegrown kids, and they're making them better and better and better.
Now, you're not driving them out in Murrieta saying, do you play football? You want to come to practice?
Not
How
yet.
old are you?
Not yet.
Where do you go to school? All right. Moving on, Canyon Springs. Wait,
real quick, though.
You got more on Rancho?
Real quick on
Yeah.
Coach Duffy. He's also, but you can see he develops players. He's got kids in the NFL, multiple teams in the NFL, and these are all kids that came through that program, and they all come back to help develop those younger kids. Absolutely. I mean, Tyron Smith,
yeah, you got it.
He's got a little camp he does every summer to encourage kids who play football in Moreno Valley. Come on out to Rancho Verde High School,
Absolutely. Coach, he does a great job. He's very underrated as a football coach.
Very.
All right, Canyon Springs taking on Kaiser, the defending champs in the Central Division. We picked Canyon Springs, and yes, they remind us last placed in the Inland Valley League this season. I guess they proved a lot of people wrong, including us at the Press Enterprise. It wasn't you?
No, I
told them it was you.
Okay.
I said it was our sports editor who did.
I did it.
So, but you know what? 2 years ago they were 0-10. Now they're in the playoffs. They're taking on Kaiser. And you know what? I kind of want to pick.
They love Pep.
I kind of want to pick the Cougars in this one. I mean, Coach Fazio, do you see a scenario where Canyon Springs could beat Kaiser in this one?
Not much of a scenario.
No. I'm picking the Cougars.
Yeah, you never know. Look, hey, Riverside County, you got Riverside County love. You never know. they're going to get after it, and they play hard, and they what a fabulous job they've done getting better over the course of a couple of years. But Kaiser's a little bit of the standard bearer, and I think Coach Zelaya's got him going again. And so I think until somebody knocks him off, I think you got to still look at Kaiser as being the team there.
Again, running game and defense.
Yeah, Kaiser's tough, and we saw Canyon Springs last week. It was a kind of a bizarre scenario where there was 4 teams and only 1 playoff spot coming out of the Inland Valley League. So Canyon Springs won, but they needed help from the Arlington North game, and Arlington ended up winning, which was good for in Canyon Springs' favor. And yeah, in Arlington, they won, which they took, care of their end of the bargain, but they wanted Valley View to win, but they still got into the playoffs. So, and now they get Heritage. Summit taking on Riverside Poly. Riverside Poly really, with Coach Brown, has really turned a corner this season. It looks like Riverside Poly football is back.
Yeah, I mean, you look at harken back to the old days, the 1985 Riverside Poly. I think it's good for high school football in the area when Riverside Poly is good. You see those uniforms and you remember the history and the tradition of Riverside Poly. And I think anytime Riverside Poly's good, that's a bonus. You hear the name Siglock, and you think of Siglock, and so awesome for Riverside Poly. What a great job they've done. And again, I think they keep it going. I think they're on in the second round.
Well, and Coach Brown came over from North. He was the athletic director. He's coached for many years, and he had the pulse right away. I mean, those kids were ready to play. And the best part for Riverside Poly is there's a lot of juniors on that roster. Yeah. They're going to be coming back next year and doing the same thing again. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Zink, quick, spell Guglielmana.
Guglielmania.
You played him, right, Coach? He's one of the players for running backs for Elsinore.
Yeah.
Shane Pico, Tommy Wilson, the quarterback, and Jacob Guglielmana.
I spelled it right.
Did you?
I said O, not E.
Oh, you were close.
Well, I was thinking Tom Gugliotta. Remember him?
Tom Gugliotta.
That's what I was thinking of. Googs.
Well, Elsinore is playing Palm Desert. I like Elsinore in this one. I just think they grind it out.
I like Elsinore,
they run the ball. Are you agreed, Coach? They battled you guys.
Elsinore's better than people think they are. They're better. They play in that Sun Belt, which is tough, and you're playing tough teams all the time. But yeah, Elsinore's better than people think they are. 2 really good running backs. The Pico kid's phenomenal.
Tough runner.
Really tough runner. They play good defense. They hit on defense, and I think in the end they'll wear Palm Desert out. I think it's better football in the Sun Belt right now than it is out in the desert.
Yeah.
And so I look for Elsinore to win that game, move on.
Kind of funny because you got differing opinions on the Desert Valley League. Some people are saying how strong they are, and I've heard others say, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sold.
That's me. I don't put a lot of weight and a lot of stock in Desert
Chris
Valley.
Erkley says the PS.
The Palm Springs
is to think about.
Yeah.
If you bring Dane Tiedemann back to Palm Springs High, then they can play.
That was
Dane
the quarterback when they played Rancho, right?
Man.
Yeah.
That's right.
That kid knocked us out of the playoffs at Carter. In,
did they really? Okay.
Dane Tiedemann.
Was that in the semis?
We were in the semis.
Yeah, that was in the semis.
I think the final score was 17-13 or something like that, or 21-17. But he was 21 for 22 throwing the ball against us. 21 for
efficient
22,
right there.
Man. Now there were a lot of underneath stuff, but 21 for 22 is 21 for 22.
That's a high passer rating.
Yeah,
and one more game from the Central Division. Paloma Valley taking on Chino. I think it's Bebo time. Brenton Boehm. I think he's going to lead this team at least to the semis. They reached that last year when they lost to Rancho Verde, and I believe it was 28-24 when they lost last year in the semis.
I can't argue with you. Yeah, I really can't.
No, they're good. Paloma Valley does a good job. Coach Esposito's a good coach.
All right, we're gonna skip the Tell Me Why segment and go straight to the East Valley Division. And Rim of the World, the defending champions, opening with I think, in my eyes, a tough draw with Linfield Christian in the opening round. Scots are the defending champs, but they've kind of struggled in Mountain Valley League play. Zink, I don't think they repeat, at least in the East Valley Division.
I'm not going to argue with you on that. I don't know that this is as tough a matchup as you think.
Dude, Linfield
it's
Christian
a ball
has
control
D1 kids.
It's a running game. They have a very good running game, and they like ball control. Linfield is not a team that throws up a lot of points. I just think that they're coming out of altitude too, so there'll be a hell of a lot more better wind than they would be if they're playing in altitude. I'm just saying that I don't think this is as tough a matchup as you think.
I think Linfield Christian wins this one.
Is Jacob Taylor playing this week? Is he back? 4,400 yards.
They've got his little brother.
Yeah,
I mean, it's close.
His little brother's got a bunch of yards, too.
It's close.
That's good. They do a good job. I don't know as much about Linfield Christian. I do know that they have a couple of really, really good players.
They do. Dallas
So
House is an incredible player.
you get guys like that together playing in the lower divisions, and sometimes that makes it hard on teams. But Rim of the World is a little bit of a program, so it should be an interesting first round game. That's actually one of the better first round games.
Yeah.
I think in all of the divisions. I think it should be a good one.
All right, also Harupa Hills taking on Arrowhead Christian. Harupa Hills going into the East Valley playoffs as the #1 seed. And they won the Mountain Valley League title, and they look good. They're not going to sneak up on people this year. I mean, they were an at-large team last year.
They were semifinalists, too. So I think they're pretty much the same as last year, barring some unforeseen upset. I think that they're going to go all the way to at least the semis.
At least the semis? You're not going to, because we're going to make our championship picks in just a moment. So I don't want you to put all your cards on the table just yet.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm fired up. You guys are firing me up. Yeah, Harupa Hills does a great job. Really good quarterback play.
Oh, yeah, DJ Wright.
Yeah, he can ball.
Citrus Valley taking on Fillmore. Don't know much about the flashes of Fillmore, but
I know about the flashes.
Do you really?
This one.
Do you?
Our linebacker coach at Eisenhower's dad is the offensive coordinator.
Of course.
For the Fillmore Flashes. So I'll throw some love to the wing T running Fillmore Flashes. It's a tough draw for the Fillmore Flashes. It's a smaller school. Playing Citrus Valley, he's got a bunch of kids. It's a tough draw for the Flashes, but really well coached football team that plays really hard, runs the wing T, runs it really efficiently. I'm picking Citrus Valley, but I love you, Coach Garner. Go get him, man. Do a great job, but I'm picking Citrus Valley.
But at the end of the day, you don't see a wing T all the time. It could give you problems if you haven't seen it, right?
And they run it good. They run it efficiently.
Yeah.
And finally, Banning versus Santa Clara. Banning, another team that got an at-large bid, and Santa Clara all the way up in Oxnard. So who do you know at Santa Clara, Coach? You got to know somebody.
Steve Nash, wasn't he a Santa Clara guy?
Santa Clara University.
My only connection to Santa Clara is Steve Nash.
And he's all broken down, so let's not go there.
See, and Banning only fielding 19 players on their roster right now. So we saw them last week. It was against Citrus Valley, I believe.
Yeah.
And even our videographer said, man, there wasn't a lot of guys suited up for Banning. So they've got a long trip with not a lot of guys as they hit the road for Santa Clara.
Well, that'll be fun.
All right, we've gone way over. So the part of the show.
Why not?
And Coach Fazio, you can agree or disagree with us, but we separately made our championship picks. We picked who we thought would reach the title game in the Inland, Central, East Valley, and Eastern divisions. We haven't shown each other. We're just going to unveil it right now on the show.
I just want to know, did somebody pick against Centennial or Vista Murrieta?
You have to wait.
Come on, give me that one. One of you guys go out on a
Man.
limb here. Hold on, you have to wait.
I don't know if I'm.
What are we starting with here, Pep?
I don't know.
What league?
Let's
or
go.
What conference?
Let's go East Valley. Can you go East Valley
Hold
first?
on, let me go find it.
There you go.
Okay, here it is, right there. Hold on.
You got it?
Yeah. Oh God.
Don't look.
Yeah.
Don't look.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
I got Harupa Hills and St. Margaret's.
I got Harupa Hills and Linfield Christian.
Whoa.
And listen, no. Hear me out. So Linfield Christian played St. Margaret's, and it was close in the fourth quarter. St. Margaret's got a couple late scores to win. I think it was 21-7. So Linfield Christian at home had them right where they wanted them, and they let them off the hook. Not this time.
Well, I'm going right down the middle of the street there, guys. So
Hey, credit to Pep, man. I always like.
There you go. Yeah, Coach.
credit to. So he's calling you?
Yeah.
Come on, Coach.
Yeah.
Firing me up.
Hey, Coach Fazio and I are going to drive around Murrieta looking for a football player.
I can't go.
Oh no, you're invited. He's always invited.
All right,
invite you.
Eastern Division. Eastern
All right.
Division. This one was easy, right?
It was
Right?
yeah, it was real easy.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
I got it.
I
Mojave
guess
River
it's
right
What?
there. You're right,
What?
Serrano.
I don't even know who
Hills.
those teams are. Dude, San G 14-0 against Citrus Hill, right there. Boom.
Oak Hills, Serrano, right there.
Coach, who has it closer?
I'll tell you what, all four of those teams are any combination of those four teams would be an awesome match. Those are all
But
four good.
here's my question: how's Serrano going to reach the championship when Hemet beats them this Friday? They can't.
Again.
It's impossible.
Again, Pep, you're losing your mind.
It's impossible.
Hey, I'll
Coach
I'll
Reitz,
buy
I didn't
the
mean
Diet-
that.
I'll buy the Diet Dr. Peppers on the trip if Hemet knocks
If
out
Hemet,
Serrano this week.
there you go. We know Coach Reitz
Mark
at
it
Hemet,
down.
so
Coach Reitz loves us.
I know
Okay.
Coach Reitz is awesome, does an awesome job. I'm buying the Diet Dr. Pepper if they knock off Serrano.
All right, here we go. So which one?
Central.
Central.
We're working our way up to the Inland Division.
Okay, here we
Alrighty?
go.
1, 2, 3.
Rancho Verde Heritage.
Yeah.
We agree.
We agree.
I think that one is, I'm not going to say it's a foregone conclusion, but I think both of them have great pedigree. Both of them have been, Rancho Verde's knocked the door down. Heritage has been knocking on the door, and this would be a great Central Division championship.
I think that's a game people want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to pick Riverside Poly, but I just, like you said,
I was this close,
yeah.
but I knew you'd call me a honk if I did, so I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I stayed away from it. All right, so the final one.
Inland Division.
Okay, here
no,
we go.
you didn't. 1, 2, 3.
Norco Centennial in the Inland Division Championship.
Did you not hear Coach Fazio this entire show talk about Vista Murrieta and how good they are?
I don't know what Coach Fazio knows, but what I know is Norco is on a roll. They're doing things the old way in Norco.
Really?
And Norco has a chip on their shoulder. I'm not naming names, I'm not naming places, but there's a game in the semifinal that they would really like, and I think that might be a possible outcome. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what, if Norco and Vista Murrieta meet in the semifinals, that would be a really interesting game.
Yeah. Putting it lightly.
I think there would be a lot of interest in that game. That's as far as I guess you need to go, but I think that'll be interesting.
Well, and I think that for the fans, that would be outstanding. Absolutely. I think it's great. I remember a couple years back, I think it was 2010, there were 2 semifinal games that both of them were knockdown, drag-out games, and it's always great to see 5,000 people inside a stadium going crazy. Well, you played at Fontana, so you know what that's like.
We had a few of those.
Yeah, so you get 5,000 people in a stadium and you're playing a football game. I think there's nothing better.
Absolutely.
So there you go. I'm the voice of reason. You're obviously out in left field.
Listen, I've got nothing against Norco. I've seen them the last couple of weeks. I saw Corey Young run all over Santiago. I like what they're doing, but man, Vista Murrieta, I just feel like when they march out, it's like a small army. There's some like Division I college, and they're just, But I don't know.
There's something to be said for having a chip on your shoulder and having a focus. And the focus is, I think, what Norco's has right now. They're ready to go.
I think a big part of that game also would be where is it played? Is that game played at Vista Murrieta or is that game played at Norco? Because both of those teams, I think, have reasonably substantial home field advantages when they play at home.
Agreed.
So I think a big part of that is the coin flip. Where's that game going to be? If it's at Vista Murrieta, I might go. It's right down the street from my house.
There you go.
I don't know. I wanted to pick the traditional 4-year tradition of Vista Murrieta Centennial, and I had to mix it up. I mixed it up in 2 places. I thought I did a good job.
You did. The whole Oak Hill Serrano thing, I get Norco. I don't get Oak Hill Serrano though.
Okay,
that's fine.
Well, talk to me when the championship game's over.
This is the reigning champ in the You Pick 'em contest, so he thinks he's the expert.
Hold on. Yeah. Overall, and staff picks. I won both of them. I'm like the Babe Ruth of Pick'em.
Oh, jeez.
You look like the Babe Ruth of Pick'em. I was just gonna say, you look like the Babe Ruth of Pick'em.
Anybody got a corn dog?
Yeah. All right, well, we've gone way over. We got to thank the Moreno Valley Vikings and head coach Ted Watkins for bringing his team down. Huge game against Carter on Friday to open the playoffs, as well as, he's the best. Head coach Vinny Fazio from Murrieta Valley. Thank you, Coach. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Anytime, man. It's not too far from my house. I like to drive. I can pick up bakers on the way home. Everything's good, man. Whenever you guys want me, I'm happy to come.
Well, Coach, since you put it that way, what do you got next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Like he said, what did he say to you when you said that?
What next?
When you said, "Hey, what about Wednesday?"
Oh, I said, "Hey, can you join us on the show on Wednesday?" He's like, "I got nothing else to do." I guess he's not game planning for a game.
Yeah, we're already getting ready. We're getting ready for Temescal Canyon next year.
There you go.
Ready for him.
I think next week we bring you back and we talk more about the coaching and the things that we talked about off air about how things have changed and how you have to adapt to all those things that change. Everything from we were talking about uniforms and those kinds of things. Because from when you played, from when your dad coached.
Absolutely.
His dad's a legend. Your dad coached with Dick Brook for how many years?
25 years at Fontana and 6 years for Coach Maynard at U of R, and he's been all over the place.
So it's a pleasure to have you, and really appreciate your time.
I'd love to be here, guys. Whenever you want me, man. This is awesome.
Maybe we just come to your house.
Yeah, do the show.
Let's do a live broadcast.
We could.
You got a pool in the backyard?
We got a jacuzzi. We can get
That would be awesome.
Jacuzzi and do it, man. I don't know if these cords reach. I don't know how that works.
We go wireless. We'll go wireless.
I'll tell you what. If we get in the jacuzzi, our ratings are going way down. That's going to be a ratings killer, man, for us.
Didn't say we had to show anybody anything.
Yeah.
It's a 3-button shot. That's what
We'll keep it family oriented here.
Well, that's
All right.
awesome.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Enjoy Friday night with your wife.
I will.
Hit the restaurants, get dessert.
If you want us to, we'll text you scores.
Yeah, keep me updated. I'll check the website. You guys keep me updated, though.
Carter,
He's on
Carter
the
and Eisenhower,
he's
right?
an
That's on
insider
the-
now, so we got to make sure he's keeping up. On
Yeah, he's got to know. He's got to know so we can break it down
He'll
with him
probably
next
give
week.
us more scores than we can give him.
He probably. I'm sure we won't be the only people texting you on Friday night.
You'll be sitting at dinner like this, phone underneath
Yeah.
the table. Yes, honey. What is that over
Will she give you a hard time if that happens, or is she curious too? Like, oh, who's winning that
You
game?
know what? Actually, she's really into it.
Is she?
She's really into it.
A
She's as
football
into
wife,
the
she has to
scores.
be, right?
She's as into the scores. The D3, because I was a D3 player and the
Yeah.
D3 coach. She checks that D3.com. She checks those scores. I can't talk to her on Saturdays because she's checking the D3 score. She knows all the teams. She's awesome, man. She's better at it than I am sometimes. So yeah, I'm sure she'll know the scores just as fast as I'll know them.
All right, so football and dinner for the Fazios on Friday night in Temecula. One final note, our good friend Louis Amistoy. Remember Louis?
Yeah.
He used to do some HS Game Time stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be joining him on his B Varsity Live show Thursday afternoon. He wants to talk the Burros, because that's a Kern County team, and the Talkwitz Titans. Here I come. Me and my goatee. We're going to pull off a win against the Burros.
Lewis, isn't that on my time? Don't we need something in exchange for that?
I think
I'm trying to figure
an
this
appearance
out.
fee of some sort.
Something. I don't know what that is, but
Well,
we'll figure it out, Lou.
Yeah, so anyways, thank you to everyone watching tonight. We'll be back with HS Game Time Live on Friday with all your Week 1 from the first round of the playoffs scores and highlights. Once again, thanks to Moval and head coach Vinny Fazio from Murrieta Valley. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time from Adrenaline on the HS Game Time Live Blitz.